beta version. So where we left, we had some issues with the WordPress editor, which I fixed. What I did is I added this option on the WordPress editor settings, and on our page controller, I saw that these line breaks were added every time, regardless if the text was on HTML or on PHP or not. So what I did is I hooked on the onSave function that we saw on last session in order to transform the information and remove the line breaks from the tag line. So that way, if you see the information now, it is displaying as it should. So display add the bold here and update. You're probably going to see this reflected on the site. So let's double check. Yes. So if I refresh this, you'll see that it is working as it should. All right. So there's this thing though, because on I was looking at the template and I saw that there's this header is much larger than this one. I'm not sure why is that. So I want to check out what's going on. Why this is? Uh, oh, it's because the wrapper is different. This is page wrapper, and where is the landing page defined? On body. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to add a class to the body class, depending if this is the landing page or not. So this is very simple. Let's go to position ourselves to the directory where our project is located. Then type php ayuko add. We're going to add an action hook, and I think it's body class, the name of the action. Same thing, we're going to manage our this action on theme controller in function body class. All right, so if we come here to our theme controller, themes, where is it? App controller, theme controller. We have this body class over here, so I'm pretty sure that this passes by a set of classes, which is an array. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if is front page, right? Then we add to the body to the classes the class name landing page, and we return the set of classes. All right, let's make sure that this works. Let's refresh. Okay, it's a string then. What we're getting here. Body class. Alright, so this seems to be a string. Let's double check. Let me check the documentation for WordPress. Wait a second. Action, WordPress action body class. Oh, I see. Yeah, I made a big mistake, because this should not be a action. It should be a filter. So okay, I'm going back to our main, and where we were defining this as a action, we're going to change it to filter. Now let's refresh it and see what happens. Now it works. You see? Perfect. All right. So now it has the size same as the project. All right. Perfect. All right. So this worked. Let me add this action or class. Scene version 1000. And this will return a array. Perfect. All right, so we fix that, And the next thing I'm going to do is I want to customize the page page template based on one of the uh, templates that we have here. So we have a template for the start, which will be the template for the documentation pages. You can see this. Then there's one for showcase. Let's see showcase how this looks like. We can use it later for showcase. Exactly that. Then we have one for license. Let's see the license. Pretty credits, pretty cogs, license, and okay. So this seems to be like the best. Let me check. General features, pricing, and support. Alright, I'm liking what I'm seeing this. So this should be our page. And then we have this at the bottom. Alright. So our page will have a icon, then a frequent asked questions, last updated information, which is this could be relevant. We might want to add a setting for this. Then we have let me see, smear documentation. This one, although it's very similar to the start, I don't see a difference though. Let's check. It's very similar to this one. The only thing that changes is the content, obviously the colors, but it's pretty much the same. Now I'm wondering how are we going to manage this, because I was thinking to add a WordPress menu over here, but if you see there's internal content, I want also for people to be able to navigate through the internal content of a document by just clicking on it, and it moves throughout. It animates the scroll, or scrolls automatically to where the code is located. That's what I want to do. As you can see here, something like this I want to do. Alright, so step 1, step 2. Think it over. Alright, so let's create, and I'm not sure if I want to create a sidebar for the pages, because that could be very handy. So probably on pages, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have this menu on left, and instead I'm going to have a page and a sidebar. And even maybe I could create a page for a normal page, and one with a sidebar. So let's do that. Let's see. Okay, let's create the basic page template. So to do that, we come to the root over here and we create new page and new file. Sorry, and with this will be page.php. All right. So let's see. These guys have a similar structure in all pages. Let's double check that. So let's open one of these ones, maybe the FAQ page. Alright, so they have the header over here, and they start the documentation wrapper. You see that? The doc wrapper, doc header. So this changes regarding if you are on the page wrapper, doc wrapper. Alright, so there's the doc wrapper. Components has a doc wrapper as well. Alright, perfect. All right, so let's do it. So our page, where is our page? So our basic page, obviously, will have a code, a comment. So let's look for the index as reference, not the index, sorry, the page, home page as reference. Since we're not going to load a we might load a specific page though, because because we might include a option for the user to select which icon he wants to display as a part of the menu. Um, and then straightforward could be the text. It doesn't matter. All right. So we're going to do the same as this one. Let's copy this and let's go to our page.php. We're going to mark a template. We're not going to paste anything because this will be the default template, default page template. So we don't need to create a different template name for this one. C renders, and this will render page, normal page. It's not. We can rename this to just render, same as in a home page, because they do the same thing. The only thing they are doing is passing by the page model to our views. Oh, but this changes. Yes, it will change. But maybe we can optimize this, like passing by here, which template which view I want to load. In this case, I know the view is on pages. The view for homepage is pages.homepage. And maybe for the page we load pages default. So we're going to refactor our page controller a little bit. So here where we had the render homepage, we're going to change this to render, and we're going to pass by the view over here. And if nothing is passed, then we probably want to just display the pages.default. Alright, and here, instead of defaulting to homepage, we set view. This way, these are the ones that are setting these are the pages that are actually setting which what to display. So on our home page controller, let me finish by adding some comments. So parameter string view to render as page, and we are returning the view. So something like that. All right. So let's double check that this is working. Let's refresh our main page. Where is it? Our main site. If this loads fine, then it's working fine. Yes. All right. So now we're going to create our the other view. So we come here, PHP IUCO, create view, and the view that we want to create is pages default. All right. So we come to our assets, views. We have pages default and home page. We haven't added a comment here. I want to add a comment as well because it's very important to have it. Have your comments or on your views as well. Page home page view, home page template. We're going to copy everything here, and we're going to go to the default, paste it over, and home page will be the default template. So for the default template, we display the header. We then proceed to display the title. If we come over here on the post, let me close all the other. Here they have the header here, and it starts with the doc wrapper. You see this? So this should be our start. We come over here and we type div.wrapper, and this is our first start. Then they go to and add the container. So probably we might wrap this under the post, because we're going to load the post here. We can wrap it like this. So here we have div.container, and under here they start like displaying the title. This is not the one. Let's close this one. Displaying the title, this one with the doc header. You see this? So let's copy this and paste it over here and give it a little bit of format, because this is not formatted well. They have a meta clock. This is for the date, last updated date. And yeah, maybe you can even add a spam here. So there's okay, icon lifesaver. We should use a font awesome here. So we're going to do something like this instead. Spawn e.fa font awesome, and font awesome for the time being. We're not going to change anything. Let's add whatever, like a heart. Then we'll change it, and space. This space is important, so we can have a space between the title and the actual the icon. So here we do a PHP the title. The dates is something that we will change. I don't remember the function to display the date, but probably we're going to add it very soon. Let me delete this piece of block here, so the code is much cleaner, and maybe a space over here so we know exactly what's wrapping up the page. Alright, so if we refresh, if we look at the maybe block, another link over here, and we have the sample page, the home. We can check the sample page and see how the defaults looking. This is a sample page, last update, this date, and we will continue with the what is this, with the so maybe with the alright, have the container over here, header over here, and we have then the body. Let's check the body, because the body has a dot content, which probably is the menu. Oh no, this is the content. Alright, let's check how these classes are working, because probably want to do something different here. The dot content, yeah, they have a padding. So we don't want to use this first, for sure. And the doc body has any class? Okay, doc body doesn't matter. But we're going to keep it. So we're going to do this: a doc.body, a div doc body, like this. And maybe we can now we can display here the content. So PHP the content. In this case, since we are using this is not needed actually. I'm wrong, because we're getting the page from the actual as a model. So we're going to use the model instead. So it should be page post title. Now I'm going to show you a trick for when you're using aliases. So if I go to the page model, look at this model page. So in our model page, I can do something like this. I can create an alias for all the attributes that are on the post object. For instance, just title, and title will be the alias for the property called post title. So this way, in my template, I can just simply call to title like this, and it will work fine. Now we have the filtered content, which is post content filtered like this. Okay, post content is not displaying the filtered. Filtered. What's the difference? Let's go to the home page. We are displaying the content. I'll have to check this though. Alright, let's play post content. It's okay. And now we have the site, the simple page. Now we can add something special here. On our we can create another model, and this model will have the settings, or the what is this, the aliases for when the page is a normal page. And the page here that is called page, we can change this to home page. But if we're changing here, we're changing the name of our model here, we need to refresh or change it all over the application. So we go to the main. Instead of registering the page, we register home page, and on models we change the name as home page, and in our page controller, in our page controller, so this is the page. I don't know if I want to create all of them in just one container. It's simpler. Let's roll back the change. It's much simpler and safer, I think. Let's go back here, page, and instead, probably on our page, we want to change the title. Instead of homepage properties, it will be pretty docs properties. So they will make more sense when we're editing the page, that it will scroll down and we see this block over here. This is all of them are related to pretty docs like this. You see pretty docs documents, and this is for the home page. Now we could probably define where and which are for the what is this? Which properties are for the home page and which properties are for the normal page. So for the normal page, we said we wanted to add a icon, right? So let's close this one. Let's close our main, and maybe we can come to page, and on page we define our icon here. Icon, and it will be meta icon. Alright, So um, on our meta this thing on our meta we can change this to IH2 home page. And you can add a specific color here. For this time being, we'll set it to black. I want to see how this looks like first of all. So let's refresh this. Wow, it's very small though. Why? Yeah, we should invert it then. This should be H3. H3. And this should be H4. Or maybe H4. That much better. Right, so we're going to add another one here, but this one will be for, maybe we can add a horizontal line first, and this one will be for a normal page, like this page. We can remove. I like how it's looking black, simple. So let me remove this. And for the page, we will add here an icon, and it will be, maybe we can add a drop down select input later. For the time being, just let's add it as a normal input. So I refresh this, and in our form we should have the icon over here, page icon. So let's use, I don't know, so this is a sample. Let's change it to a cog. Fat cog. Alright, let's save this. So now, in theory, what I can do is in our page where we had the icon here, instead of having the heart, we're going to call to the icon. Let's test this though. Let's refresh this. And no. Did it save? Yeah, facog. Inspect element. Span. FA. What's wrong? Page icon. Page icon, icon, meta icon. Page. Why this is not loading? The save is work. Oh yes, because we're editing the, voila, dumbass. I'm editing the home page. So let's edit this sample page actually. And for the sample page here in the file, we're going to add the FA cog. Good. Now if we refresh this, we have our cog in our page. Yes, you see? Alright, so now I want to do something else. What I want to do first is we're going to do two things. First, we're going to display the right date for the page, and then we are going to add the option for the administrator to add a sidebar or not here in the right side. So first thing, let's see. Okay, so this is the post date, if I'm not correct. So it means that we can do something very cool in terms of how we're going to set up we're going to return, or we're going to render the format for the date. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a new property that says date, and date will be post date. Right, but we want to format the date, and we want to return a date with format. So I'm going to add a new alias here that will be called formatted date. So this way we return in our model a formatted date. So what we do here is we were going to call to a function that will be named get date. All right. So here at the bottom of our model, we're going to we'll create a new functional, and the function should be named same as this one, get date, and we're going to start describing it. So returns formatted post date since version 101, and we're going to return a string. Alright, so we will return date, and here we're going to include the format, and we're going to pass string to time, and we're going to pass to string to time this date. Remember that date is the alias for post date, so we can use the alias within the project. Let me check where we can get the actual date format. WordPress date format, so we can get the exactly date format for the page. Alright, so it seems that this is set up on a setting in the database. So and it's called get format, like this, date format. So it means that now that we have a date format, we can try something like this. Maybe first of all we might want to try test it though. So let's add the clock over here with a space, and let's do this PHP, where we're going to print right away page date formatted date, and we're going to recheck that this is working fine. Yes, March 31, 2016. So now we can add something like this. It should be PHP E. Maybe we can add all of these ones with spawn and maybe we can add with this way we can add maybe later what is this schema org tags. So this will be this one, last updated WordPress MVC, and last updated will be this value over here. Now, March 31 is the date it was actually created, right? Probably what we want to do is we want to add the last update date, not the date for not the actual date. So we are going to add a new alias for this, and we're going to call it update date or updated, or maybe last updated. Maybe we're gonna skip the adding the alias, and we just going to return this information already updated formatted. So get last updated. I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, get last updated, returns formatted post last update date. Alright, so here is not date, it is, let me go to the database and check it out very quickly because I don't remember exactly which date should be set up here. Sorry for that. Just don't remember all the stuff. Alright, I will let you know. Let me check. WordPress, and this is on the posts. WordPress posts, and the column is, we have post date, then we have post modified. So it should be, instead of date, post modified. Actually, we should call this modified instead of date, just modified. Modified is post modified, and formatted modified get modified. Alright, so we can use formatted modified instead here, and we'll get our latest input on the page, which is different now. It's October 28. You can see that because we just updated today, so it's good. It is looking fine. Now we're going to add the setting so people, if they want to add a new sidebar, they can do that. So here we are going to add a new meta and call it sidebar, or maybe has sidebar, because will be a flag. And so this way, or just sidebar, meta sidebar, and maybe we can add a has sidebar so we can double check that information that comes from sidebar is, we return it as a boolean. So this will be a function has sidebar. Right, so in the function here we're creating a new function. We're going to create a new function, call it has sidebar, and this will return flag indicating if page has sidebar or not. Alright, since 101, and we're going to return a boolean. So return this sidebar. This will check if we have a sidebar, and if this if this sidebar equals to 1. Alright, so now we can come over here and we're going to add a row inside of this. So div.row. These are classes from Bootstrap. I already know them. And we're going to do the following. We're going to set up a new div for the content, and we're going to set up the class like this. So PHP if page has sidebar, right, then we're going to add the following class equals to column, and maybe when it's medium, when it's a medium view, we can add it as a column of 8 probably, or maybe 9. And if it's smaller, or actually 9, and if it's smaller, we convert it to we convert it to 8. Else we are going to add this as a column MD of 12, and we're going to close our if here. Now we're going to do the same. If we have a sidebar, only if we have a sidebar, we are going to display the sidebar, and the sidebar will be a div of column mid of 3, and in the smaller resolutions, column small of 4. And here we're going to display our sidebar. Alright, so we added this here, but we need to add the function actually in our meta form. So let's go to our edit and our meta form. So we come over here, and we're going to add a new row, a sidebar. This will be a checkbox, and meta should be sidebar. The value should be 1, and this is where this is different, because if model has sidebar, then this checkbox should be checked. You see? Maybe we can add an extra description here and say it like spawn class description include right sidebar on page. Includes right sidebar on page, maybe like this. Okay, let's refresh this. And our form should have now this sidebar checking. So we can easily just check. Let's double check. Like this, you see? So let's click on this. Let's save it. Let's make sure that the checkbox stays there. Oh, by the way, I saw that I can add a class here and make the inputs larger. So let's do that as well. This class regular text. So we're going to include that in all our text inputs. Here and here. Maybe this one can stay small. And yes, it is working. Perfect. Alright. What it didn't save the rest of the. Oh, it's not. They're not included. Yeah, you see, they're larger now. Right, so we come over here and we refresh. We should have the spacing over here because we're going to include a sidebar in this type of page. And if we click on this thing and we save it and we refresh later, this page should not include a sidebar now. So our setting is working fine. Now we really need to include the actual sidebar, which will be called the page sidebar. So for that, we need to register the sidebar. So in order to register the sidebar, I think we need to add it on widgets init. So we come to, it's an action for WordPress. So we come here to our command prompt, we type php iuco add action and widgets underscore init, and this will be handled by theme controller add sidebars. Here's where we're going to define our sidebars. Alright, so we go to the theme controller and there should be a new function here, since 1000, and here we're going to add or register our sidebars. Let me check how we should decode for registering a new sidebar. I'm copying this from WordPress page. Alright, so the function is register sidebars. I want the single one, register sidebar. Alright, so is register sidebar like this, and we have to pass by an array with all the settings. You know what, Iuco will remove the spaces, so let's not use them. And okay, so the name of the sidebar, let's do it first of all. Name is page. That's the sidebar for the page. Then the ID will be WordPress MVC page. Right, maybe the object and then the location. Now a description. Sidebar located on the right side of pages when their flag is activated, right? Then we have class, we're not going to use them. We can add more stuff, but it's not required. It is not required. So we can add this before title, before and after widget. So maybe instead of having a div, I want to add I want to add a div like this. Alright, so now if I refresh this, if I go to the administrator, that means that once I added a widget, if I go to appearances, widgets should be available. So if I come to widgets, you see that the page says that I can add a widget here. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to add one of these our plugins, which is the inquiry form, and I'm going to add it to the page, and I'm going to save it like that. Although if you can see, we are not calling it anywhere the widgets. So what we're going to do now is here, where we had our sidebar over here, we're going to add a new div called sidebar, and the ID for this is ID. I'm not sure if this will be created dynamically by WordPress. So let's do this something like this: PHP dynamic sidebar, and the sidebar that we're going to include here is WordPress MVC page right. That's the name of the sidebar. So let's refresh this and check and see. Okay, this is right. So it is, as you can see, it is returning the sidebar. Perfect. And let's see, and it puts it below after that. So we might want to add a wrapper here. So widgets wrapper. Why? Because what we can do is we can add a padding when the resolution goes and displays for mobile. So we have an extra, maybe a margin top or a space in between the widgets and the content of the page. So let's see how this looking like. ID widgets wrapper, and this starts widget with the division. You see? So it is working fine. So we created a template for pages, which is perfect, exactly what we wanted. They're looking fine, you see. Yeah, I could add more text. Actually, let's start adding more. What is this? More. Let's add the search box before here, and maybe you can add a calendar after, and then the inquiry form. This is just for testing purposes. So if I refresh this, if I have the search form, the our calendar, so it is working. Let's remove this, delete. Obviously it's not formatted. I might want to add some format before, so everything looks aligned for buttons and stuff like that. Yes, but alright, so that's working fine. Let me remove this. I don't like how it looks like the search. Okay, so we have a sidebar for pages. Actually, we can change this to pages. It's more, we can identify it more. So that should be on the theme controller, register sidebar, pages. So we come to widget, it says pages, has inquiry form. Perfect. Alright. Okay, Okay, now let me save this information to the repository so you guys can download this at any time. You can go check it out. The repository is free. So go to 10 quality on GitHub and you will find it. The whole project and framework is there as well. Alright. Website. And we're going to add. Right, so this is a string session 3. All right, perfect. Okay, so the next template I want to work on is what is next template I want to work on? Probably the start one, which has this documentation here, this stuff over on the left side. This is what I want to work on, most likely. And yes, exactly, this is the one I want to work on. All right, perfect. I'm thinking though how I'm going to include this over here. I was thinking maybe I can include them with view. So once page loaded, view adds these inner scrollable options in the menu. This is something that can be do it with view. All right, seems legit. Cool. Yes, I'm thinking over though. So on any step, they can have extra settings. All right, so let's work on this view. Okay, so what we do now is, okay, although I'm not sure if I wanna continue working on this right now, or if I wanna wait or do it in another session. Probably yes, I'm going to do this on the next session. The next session I'm going to implement the template for when we're going to use a what is this, a menu on the left side, and maybe even I can select which menu I want to use, so I can regardless of the template I can select, oh yeah, I want to use this menu. All right. All right, perfect. So okay guys, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this the application, and no, I enjoyed watching how I created this. I'm starting I'm kind of tired, sorry for this, but yeah, it is working fine. And if you have any questions, yeah, let me ask, put them on the YouTube comments section, and I'll read them and answer you back. So have a good one. Bye.